Welcome to the Books for Athletes podcast with your host, the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole. Mr. Cole, a former athlete and best-selling author himself, has set out to take you behind the scenes of some of sports' forgotten heroes. He sits down with former professional athletes, college athletes, and sports coaches as they share stories of triumph, defeat, dedication, and perseverance. Here's Kelly.
What's up, everybody? It's the publisher here, Mr. Kelly Cole, and welcome to another episode of the Books for Athletes podcast. Today, I got my main man, Double J, Jumaine Jones, man. Thank you so much for joining us, man. How you feeling today?
Man, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff, man. How does it feel? I'm gonna start off here. How does it feel to finally hold this baby in your hands? Like when you got it, describe that feeling.
Man, you know what? I'm still, like, anytime I see it, so many people been hitting me up, taking pictures and sending it to me, let me know they purchased it. And it's still registering, man. Like, just to be able to, when I first got it, it still hadn't hit that, that I'm officially an author now. It hadn't hit me all the way yet. I'm pretty sure to get there at some point. I'm just excited right now just to see it, and get everybody else's reaction. So I'm more excited about people getting to read it and kind of, seeing a little bit about a little of what I've been throughout my lifetime.
Dope, good stuff. All right, so for the people who let's talk to the people who haven't got it yet. So what was your goal with writing this book? What was your goal for the people who was going to read it?
It was more of just to, give some things that I've went through, before, playing professionally, even after I played professionally, and just kind of give people ideas that, no matter what you've been through as a professional athlete, there's still, no matter how much money you make and all that kind of stuff, there's still, which I'm a big mental health advocate. There's a lot of things that I went through during those times when everybody's seeing me, playing on television, and, I had so many, big accolades just going up through my life, and people thought it was easy. So I just trying to give people an idea on how hard it was. Even being a professional athlete, it was tough for me. And even afterwards, just give them that kind of thing, let them know that, life wasn't easy at all. And that's pretty much the idea I wanted to give, let them know about a little of the mental health issues that I went through myself personally.
Got you. So when did that start? When did the mental health issues start for you in your career? Was it early on in high school, college, or when did that start?
Well, from what I found out after going to counseling, this is something that was with me throughout my childhood. A lot of things that, came to me after I found out that basketball was just that coping skill for me. And once that ended, it left me into a place where, I had to pick back up to the things that was causing all the pain for me. And I was just able to use basketball to be able to cope. And then once that was no longer there, I was left at that spot again where, I need to go get answers. I need to find out about myself. Why am I acting out this way? Why am I so stressed out, about life in general? So, that was just, childhood, a lot of things that we don't get to do. And that's why I like to reach out to a lot of youth now, to be able to get those answers, to be able to have those kind of conversations earlier. And then you wouldn't be at my age at 42, 43 years old, still trying to figure out things, when we can try to do it. The earlier we can catch it, the better it will be.
Oh man, yeah. You say you work with a lot of youth and things like that. What is that main message? Is it getting them help, or what's your main message for youth today?
Well, to be honest with you, man, my main thing is to trick them. You know what I'm saying? Because, I use me being a professional athlete to try to get these kids into the gym. I use basketball camps. I use so many different things. I get people throw events and have, rappers come in and, have them, quote some things. And that gets them excited. That get kids in. And then, I kind of trap them into those conversations about, mental wellness and get, just try to see where they are and see what, conversations I can get out of them. And from there, I can kind of, have conversations with the parents, even the parents, that's what I'm learning now, that even with the kids and we finding out things and being able to get help for the kids, I'm finding out now that, we're helping the kids, but then they're going home to, where the parents are dealing with a lot of, so that's when I try to figure out what can I do to be able to help the parents as well. So that's what the process I'm in right now. I have the kids coming in at camp. Now I'm having it where, all right, parents, you guys can't just drop your kids off. We got something for you guys too. So we're trying to help the community, as a whole. And that's one of the things I'm working towards now. And the only way I feel I could do that is just getting out and being amongst people. Of course, me being a professional athlete, it's easier to be able to get, to those guys, but to be able to get out to communities is much more meaningful to me.
Sure, man. That's good stuff, bro. So you grew up in Florida. Take us back real quick. So you grew up in Florida. How did you end up in Georgia? Like, tell me that whole process.
Yeah, born and raised in Florida, man. It was rough childhood, man. I tell people this all the time. When I was growing up in Cocoa, Florida, we was like top 15 in murder rates.
Wow.
In the small town of Cocoa, Florida. And, that's what led my transition, just being around so much drug dealing and all that kind of stuff. Just being in a bad environment. And I think at 13 years old was the turning point for my mom, me actually witnessing the murder. After that point, my mom was like, okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get you out of here, to be able to get you a chance to be able to succeed. And, that's probably the best decision that ever happened, man. Just me going to a small town called Camilla, Georgia, to be able to get a different lease on life, because just being down there, only seeing drug dealers in my environment, I couldn't wait to graduate school so I could do the same thing because that's all I seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know all about that, man. I'm from Chicago. I was born in Cabrini Green Housing Project, so best decision was my mom shipped me to Virginia, so I know all about that, bro.
Absolutely.
But good stuff, man. So how did you start playing basketball? Tell me about that.
I never even liked basketball at all, man. Florida's a football state.
Yep.
We football down there, so it was more of all my friends played. Mm-hmm. When I went outside to play, to go outside to play, all my friends was at basketball practice. So, that just led me to like, you know what, man, let me go try basketball out. And once I went and tried it out, it was like love at first sight. Mm. I went in and it was motivating even more than me just falling in love with the game. It was more of like how all the kids was laughing at me because I wasn't that good.
Hey, it's the publisher here, Mr. Kelly Cole. Listen, if you are a former professional athlete, if you are a former college athlete or sports coach, and you're looking to launch your speaking career, let me tell you, you need a book. If you're already out there speaking and you want to track more high-paid speaking engagements, you need a book. It's not about creating more content to post on social media. It's not about recording a bunch of videos. It's not about doing more podcasts. The number one secret to attracting more high-paid speaking engagements or even launching your speaking career is a book. Hey, I'm the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole, and I help former athletes and sports coaches create best-selling books in 30 days to launch their speaking career, even if they hate writing and don't know where to start. So for the first time ever, I've created a free case study video that will not only show you how to write a book from scratch in as little as 30 days and become a best-selling author, it will also show you how to attract more high-paid speaking engagements. Now, to check out this free case study video, click the link that says learn more or go to booksforathletes.com. Real quick before you go, do not go if you're not a former athlete or sports coach, because you won't find any value in what I'm about to share. And don't go if your book is already out and already on Amazon. You won't find any value in what I share over there. But if you are a former athlete or sports coach, know that you need a book, or already out there speaking and you want to launch your speaking career, Go check out that link now. Writing a book is not as hard as you think. It doesn't even matter if you don't know where to start. My case study video will show you how to start and get it done and onto the bestsellers list. So go now.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I used throughout my life, man. Anytime I heard anything negative, I always wanted to turn it into a positive. So that's what, you know, from them laughing at me that day, I was in the gym every single day from that age of 11 years old, trying to get better while they was playing video games. I was at the gym, just trying to get better every single day. And that's what fueled me, you know, kids laughing at me, telling me what I couldn't do, and just something that always stuck with me.
Was it somebody in there with you? Did you have a trainer back then, or you was just in there getting work by yourself?
No, man, back then, man, we ain't had no trainers. That's why I say these kids got it easy these days, man. They got trainers, they got all the stuff that they need in front of them. You know, all we had to do was go watch television if we had cable to even watch the games. You know, just kind of mimic your favorite players. And, you know, if you had somebody in the neighborhood that was pretty good and you like whatever moves they did, you just kind of mimic that. You know, that was our training, self-training.
So tell me about your high school career. So like you play all 4 years in high school?
Yeah, high school is probably the biggest moment for me, actually, because, you know, coming from playing in middle school in Florida, I didn't really get many of my family members coming to the games. You know, everybody was working 2-3 jobs, and, you know, everybody had their own stuff going on. You know, I had like 2 cousins possibly that used to come to my games in middle school, 7th, 8th grade. So me moving to Camilla, Georgia, small town, just to be able, and I still wasn't even good then, 9th grade. I was just, you know, got a lot of rebounds at that time. But just playing in high school there, to look up in the stands and see all of my family members, like that just gave me the momentum. Like, man, I had never had this before, but that made me work even harder because I wanted to be able to be sure that they continue coming to the game. And the only way I felt like I could do that is get in the gym and work harder.
Yeah, that's good, man. So when did you, so like, what was your breakout season? Was it your junior year or senior year?
It was my junior year. My junior year, I was after like 30 points. And it's funny how it came along after my 9th grade year. You know, I think I had like 22 rebounds in the game. I was averaging 12, 13 rebounds in 9th grade. I didn't even want to shoot the ball. And then 10th grade, my coach was like, look here, man, we're going to need you to score this year. And I was like, okay. And, you know, I scored a couple times, man, and I found out girls like that. So after that, after 10th grade, man, he couldn't stop me from shooting. So from 10th grade, man, it was pretty much on from there.
And then junior year, you start averaging 30. Tell me about your senior year and being recruited.
It's funny, man, because I was playing for the Atlanta Celtics. Probably it's one of the top 5 AAU programs in the world right now. And like we were the first guys, me and Deion Glover, that really started that organization off. And you know, getting the recognition that we was getting, man, I was, you know, every school in the country recruited me except for like 2 schools, and that was Georgia Tech and North Carolina. And Antoine Jameson was in North Carolina at the time, and Matt Harper was at Georgia Tech at the time. So I made sure I gave both of them 30 whenever we played them. But I was highly recruited coming out, and you know, it was easy. It was an easy process in my senior year because I signed early.
What made you choose Georgia? Why did you sign early with Georgia?
Well, just growing up without my, growing up without my father around. My high school coach was my father figure. He was the guy that really kept me in line and always wanted me to learn more and be better. And he was that role model for me, not even on the basketball court, off the court. He was that guy that kind of, stuck around, and even off the court, he was an assistant principal. So he would come in my classroom, make sure I'm in the front of the class. I was spending the weekends over at his house.
Yeah. So,
when I went through my, making a decision about college, I wanted that same kind of relationship with my coach, and I feel like the only person that I can have that kind of relationship with is somebody that looked like me. And that's how I went about my recruiting process, somebody that I could feel like a father figure. And Tubby Smith was at the University of Georgia at the time, and that's how I made my decision.
Dope. So tell me, all right, you make it to Georgia. Tell me about your college experience. Like, how was that for you? We know early on, man, when them chicks, you start making buckets. College is a whole nother level. Let's talk about it.
Man, college is a whole nother level on all levels, to be honest with you, man, because it's like you almost have no time to yourself. You're going to school, like when I went to University of Georgia, we had 6 a.m. individual workouts. Then after the individual workouts, we had to go to class all day. And then after that, we had to have a certain amount of study hall hours, during that time. And then we got practice, after that. So it's like by the time you finish your day out, I tell people all the time, being in college, man, and being an athlete is pretty much having to be like a full-time job, So it was tough in the beginning because, I had to learn about time management. That was one of the most important things for me, trying to work in and see how I was going to manage my time and also be able to do the things that I enjoyed to do as well. And we all know that University of Georgia's top 5 party school every year, and national champions, by the way.
Hey, go ahead. Talk that talk. Rep for your squad. That's what's up, bro. But yeah, so I had the same experience, but I didn't stay in school. Like when I played football. So when I went to college to play football, that's when I figured out, I don't love this as much as I thought I did. I thought it was, I thought I was just going to, be a breeze, just a breezeful trend. No, like you said, them 6 a.m. workouts, 3 practices, meetings, and no, I was like, nah, I can't do
that. That's when you find out. That's when you find out if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
That's when you find out. Like, how bad do you really want it?
Exactly. So how long did you stay at Georgia?
I stayed 2 years. I stayed, after my second year, I really didn't want to leave University of Georgia, but I ended up firing the coach, who, it's funny that I signed the school because of Tubby Smith. As soon as I signed, he left to go to Kentucky 2 weeks later.
Would you have went to Kentucky? Would you have went to Kentucky if he told you?
I was going to go to Kentucky, but then they still had the rule that I would have to sit out. I wasn't willing to sit out that year. So I was like, you know what, man? And his assistant coach was still there that took over the job. So I was like, yeah, I'm not willing to sit out. I came to play. So, and then the next year, they brought out the rule, if your coach leave, you can leave. But it was too late at that point. And I didn't really want to leave Georgia. I was having that much fun. I hadn't made the NCAA tournament. We made the NIT both my years. So, I was looking forward into my junior year because I had already had talks with Donnell Harvey, who was like the #1 basketball player in the state. Well, actually in the country at that time. And he told me that if I stayed in school, he was coming. And then we had D.A. Lane, who was coming from Wheeler, who broke Sharif Abdul-Rahim, all his records in high school. So I had a lot to look forward to. So I didn't really want to leave school. And then when the coach came in and he told me if I left school, I'd be pumping gas in 10 years. So that was one of the things that led me to leaving.
Really?
Like I said, even as a young kid, when you say things to me like that, I always try to turn that negative into positive. And I was just eager to leave just to prove him wrong.
Dang, he said you. So why didn't he believe in you? What was that about? What was that statement? Why did he make that statement?
After talking with people afterwards, they told me like he was one of those coaches that like to use reverse psychology. And that just didn't work for me.
Yeah. So he was trying to do the reversal, get you to stay, and you was like, I'm out.
Right. He ended up coaching Lamar Odom. He coached Lamar Odom at Rhode Island. So I ended up playing Lamar when we played for the Lakers.
Okay.
And I ended up seeing him again. And, he had got fired and couldn't even work nowhere in college again because of all the illegal stuff he was doing down in Athens.
Wow.
And it was weird because I remember when he told me that I called the agent. I say, look here, man, set up my workouts. And when I went to my first workout, I wrote on I was in the hotel room and I wrote on a piece of paper, pumping gas in 10 years. So I put it on the wall. So whenever I woke up in the morning, I could see it. So that was my motivation going into every workout, pumping gas in 10 years.
Wow.
And then I had the opportunity to see him at the Lakers game, and he asked me, did I remember him? And I was like, man, like, do I remember you? I say, first of all, I want to shake your hand because you're the reason why I'm wearing this Laker uniform. And then I just walked away from him. Probably one of the best feelings I had.
Wow. What year was that in your career? Had you already beat the 10 years, or what year was that?
I had not. That was actually what year was that? That was that was actually my fifth year. That was actually my fifth year in the NBA at the time.
Dope. Good stuff. All right. So tell me so you made the decision. What was the process from the decision to getting drafted? Like, what was that process like?
It was tough, man. Being projected to be a lottery pick, just going in and it was hard for me to even get workouts with guys that were supposed to be ahead of me. People were being smart about who worked out because it was like a draft full of 3-men. You know what I mean? They had like Wally Zerbiak, Lamar Odom was a 3, Corey McGrady was a 3, Sean Marion, who else? We had James Posey, Ron Artest. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a whole list of guys. Manu Ginobili, who didn't get drafted to the second round. Like, it was a whole list of 3s at the time. So, and we were all just trying to get workouts to be able to compete against each other to see, what we could prove because we all projected to be lottery picks. And it was hard. Like, Wally Zerbiak didn't work out with anybody.
Really?
It was crazy. So that process, just trying to be able to get in the gym with guys at that time, that was a tough process, especially when you're in competition, when you only can, compare notes to what guys did against what teams when, I didn't really get that opportunity to play against the top tier teams. Of course, we played against North Carolina and Georgia Tech, but other guys, playing in the ACC got other opportunity to play against them more than I did and other big teams. And they made tournament. So that was one of the things that I was going to use, for myself to be able to show them that I was just as elite as the other 3-man that was going on. So that was the toughest thing for me going through that process.
Gotcha. How many workouts did you end up doing?
I worked out for all the lottery teams.
Okay, just the lottery.
Yep. All the lottery teams I worked out for, because that's how I was projected. So that's why I went after the lottery. I didn't get drafted to the 27th pick, and I was concerned because I had only worked out for the lottery teams. I was at the draft. They only invite you to the draft unless they think you're going to be lottery. So I end up slipping with Trajan Langdon being drafted at 13 to Cleveland.
Wow. Because
Cleveland told me that if Sean Marion was going at 9, they was drafting me at 13, and they end up drafting Trajan Langdon.
Wow.
Who nobody thought that would be in the first round. People expecting him to get drafted in the second round. Screwed the whole draft.
Wow. So how tell me about that feeling though, sitting at the draft, you're slipping farther and farther down the line. What was going through your mind and how were you feeling?
I should have stayed in school. That was one of the things. That was one of the things that I was going on because, for me, just sitting in there, I was the only one in the green room.
Wow.
And the lottery pick was gone. Now I'm sitting out here sweating. I'm looking at my age. I'm like, man, everybody told me I was lottery. What's going on? And and then all the teams that was coming up to pick, I hadn't worked out for. So now I'm really nervous. Like, am I even gonna get picked in the first round? And then it was weird how things worked out because I ended up going to a workout in Philadelphia and end up having a conversation with Larry Brown, who was a coach for the Sixers at the time, and we sat down and talked for like an hour, and just through that conversation, man, my agent kept telling me like, man, Larry Brown been trying to move up in the draft just so he can draft you. And then he told me at that time too, he said, man, Jumaine, I really wish we had the opportunity to draft you, but we know that you're going to be gone. So that was a blessing within itself. You know, that's why I always tell the youth now, man, like, look, always represent yourself. You never know who you might need, you know, and that was one of the times that it worked for me.
No. So you get drafted. Tell the people what was that rookie contract like? What was your rookie contract?
Yeah, I was making $640,000 at that time, man, which I thought at the time, being 19 years old, getting drafted, I thought I was rich. I thought I was rich at that time, man, making that kind of money. Being 19, got 16 aunties and uncles. You know, the most money they ever had was probably income tax time. So, you know, they thought I was rich too. Nobody was really there to be able to tell me. I didn't learn about financial literacy or any of that stuff in school. So for me, that was, you know, that was like making millions of dollars for me.
So what was that rookie deal? So it was how many years for how much money? The lump sum?
I can't remember the lump sum, but I do remember my first year. I had a 3-year deal, and then they picked up my 4th-year option, which was my 4th-year option was, I think it was like 1.1 million or something like that. That was the highest that I had made. But then, you know, the breakdown, like I always give people, the breakdown, like if you making $1 million, Uncle Sam getting half of that.
Yep.
Then, you know, and then the NBA take 10% back for your retirement. And then your agent get 4%. So 64% of that money already gone before you even know. And, you know, don't have no child support or anything else like that, man. I was like, man, we making money, but not like people think.
How do they play? Do you get paid after every game, or you get paid weekly? How does the NBA pay?
It depends. Like you can get paid. I mean, some guys, everybody get paid twice a week. I mean, twice a month. The 1st and the 15th. And, you know, some guys get paid 12 months. Some guys get paid, you know, 6 months. Some guys get paid the whole year, you know, depending on, you know, how the guys want to get paid. And then you had guys like Kobe Bryant, who wanted his whole full contract up front.
And they gave it to him?
He Kobe.
Wait a minute. I've never heard that. So the Lakers gave Kobe all his money for the whole year up front. Wow.
Kobe wanted everything up front. I'm like, man, like, how you do that? It was only a few of those that did that.
Wow,
Kobe was one of them.
Okay. So what was that first check like? Your first check was how much?
I think it was like 40 something thousand.
40 some thousand. What was that like? What did you do with your first NBA check?
Man, my heart's so big, man. All I did was make sure my family was straight. I didn't buy myself anything. You know, I made sure my mom had what she needed. Got her a car, a house, my sister a car, my aunt a vehicle, and like I was the giver. Yeah. You know, at that time, you know, and of course your phone rings off the hook. You know, once you get drafted, you're getting phone calls, you get new cousins, you get new family members, you know what I mean? So you know how that works out. And being 19 years old with the heart that I had, you know, it was hard, you know, and I tell people this all the time, like draft day was like the best day of my life and the worst day at the same time. Because I wasn't really to deal with, like I never knew success brought in so much for me. And until going through it.
Talk about it. Why you say it was the worst day?
Well, because, you know, I just like to live life, man. I'm happy. I like to, you know, live simple and do simple things, man. And then it's like everybody else putting everything else on you, and then everybody else's problems become yours. And if you care a little bit, you'll get caught up in that. And at the same time, you got to go perform every single night.
Yo, what up? It's your girl, JC. And listen, I have to send a special shout out to my guy, Mr. Kelly Cole, and the entire team at Publishing Advantage Group and Books for Athletes. They took so great care of me to the point that I know I'm the pickiest person. This book was supposed to have been finished last summer. However, there were some details that I needed to make sure that the book had because my audience needed it. And, you know, when it comes down to feeding and serving the people, especially as a former athlete, and telling your story, you know you cannot be selfish with the material and give it away. And they worked with me from the time of my thought process to the time of conception, all the way down to now, top 20 hot release best-selling author on Amazon in 24 hours. Listen, if you're an athlete, you have a story to tell, and you don't know how to put it in book form just yet, don't worry, you're not alone, okay? Hit my guy, Mr. Kelly Cole, and tell him what you're trying to do, and I promise you he gonna get you right, all right? And of course, check me out on Amazon after the season. Shout out to the Books for Athletes family.
And after games, you got a million messages where people asking you for things, want this, and then your mom hits you up trying to help the world. And you know, that became stressful, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, you know, you end up changing numbers, and man, it's stressful being in that kind of position when everybody feel like, you know, that you have the answer to everybody's problem just because you have money. So that alone was very, very, very stressful for me to be able to keep intact because I didn't have an outlet to anybody to even have a conversation with. Nobody had, you know, that kind of money to even begin to talk to me about how should I go about things. And then for me, it hurt the fact that even hearing somebody like, oh yeah, he changed now since he got drafted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 19 years old. Like, I'm taking all that in. Like, man, what are y'all talking about? So I'm going through all of this process when I got to go out playing 4-5 games out of the week and got to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And dealing with all that, and they don't want to. You know, the NBA don't want to hear about what's going on off the court. No. I need you to out here to perform. That's what we paying you for.
Right. Yeah. I feel you on that. So what was it like? Let's get back to the dream part. What was it like? Very first practice, very first time going into an NBA game, man. Talk to me about your dream coming true, man. Let's talk about that.
Man, I was like a kid in the candy store, man, my first day of practice, but I got humbled very, very quickly.
Talk about it.
You know, because I had, you know, ever since my sophomore year, I was always the scorer. Mm-hmm. You know, I had been scoring my entire life. And like even in high school, my senior year, I was averaging almost 32, 33 points a game my senior year. And I was doing that in 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. Then went on to University of Georgia, leading the SEC in scoring. You know, all I ever knew was to score. And then I'm with the 76ers now. I'm thinking they brought me in to help Allen Iverson score. You know what I mean? Like that's what was going on in my mind. And of course, you know, my first day of practice, I'm doing what I've been doing, scoring. Like I'm getting buckets. And Larry Brown pulled me over to the side. He's like, hey, look here, young fella. If you want to play for me, you better find something else to do. Cause we got a little guy on our team who's gonna shoot 50 times a night.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, that's a humbling experience. Let me go over here and talk to some of these vets and get me some advice.
How was it being a teammate of AI?
Man, he was actually one of my favorite teammates, actually, man, because his heart was so big. He gave so much to his teammates. You know, even after every game, man, he was one of those guys that came in the locker room, win or loss, and tell his teammates how much he loved them, how much, you know, he loved playing with them. And you don't get that from your best players, man. You know, a lot of these players, people don't know, like, can be butt heads to you, or too, you know, strict on you getting better and want to win. But, you know, you get a guy like him who's passionate about the game, put all the work in, and night in and night out, tell you how much he appreciates his teammates. That means a lot to anybody that ever played with a caliber player like Allen Iverson. And that's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Dope, bro. Dope. All right, we're going to fast forward because we're running out of time. Talk to me about that year 4, man. 04 in the book, man. That's where it got tough in Cleveland. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. Everything was going downhill from that time, man. Just, you know, on the court, losing, you know, losing family members, losing friends, being broke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was a whole lot everything got dark to me at that time. It was just like, man, I made it to my dream, man, but like, why am I in such a dark place right now? Like I'm supposed to be happy with basketball, but I'm not. I'm supposed to be happy with life, but I'm not, because I'm having to dealing with so much stuff that was going on at the time. And anybody that's an athlete, the goal is to win. Even my mentality of shooting marbles, I want to win. No matter what it is, I want to win it. And going from making the finals and then going to Cleveland and almost breaking the record for the most losses in a row. Wow. That really put you in a place where, like, man, what is going on in my life? Like, whatever I did, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So it was, that was a very dark time. That was probably one of the toughest time in my life, man, to be able to be going through so much all at the same time. That was a lot. And I was only 23 years old at that time, and I was supposed to be happy about getting married.
Beyonce, little thing on the side, little dip on the side, and trying to keep it all away from it.
Right.
Tell me about that meeting with your agent when he told you was broke, man. What was that like?
It was tough for me to hear, man. Because the simple fact of like, at what point were you gonna let me know? Like, I was close. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, I wouldn't think that you would continuously allow me to, keep doing the things that I was doing, because I knew I was giving a lot, but I would be expecting somebody to be like, hey, Jumaine, you really spending a lot of money. And to know how much I was in the red, like that was more alarming than anything. I'm like, okay, I'm broke. So, now I got to try to figure things out on who I'm going to stop helping. And then to figure out, like, I'm in the red that much, like, wow, like I got a lot of work to do, to get out of this hole. So just, that was stressful within itself to know how much in the red I was.
How much were you in the red?
Man, I think I was in the red over $1 million.
Wow. $1 million in the hole.
In the hole. $1 million in the hole with 2 new additions and married. Had just got married, all of that.
And $1 million in the bucket. Wow. And in the book you talked about you wanted to get out of Cleveland so bad, and you said that was one of your worst decisions. And you told them you didn't go to your exit interview and ended up losing $4 million by just being hasty and getting out of there. Talked about that for a little bit.
Well, I mean, I was still young in the head too, and was going through a lot. Wasn't thinking clearly, and then really, I really wasn't surrounded by the right people to help me make the right decisions either. That was tough. I didn't like Cleveland at all. Then I had, my son was about to be born at the time, and I just felt like it was overwhelming. It was just too much. It was cold all the time and dreary. You know what I mean? All that coldness coming off the lake, and we were losing, and I never thought, even though LeBron James was practicing with us while he was in high school, I didn't think that, I knew he was going to be really, really good, but I didn't think that he was going to be able to turn a franchise around that soon. Yeah. After going and playing in the NBA finals, man, I'm trying to get back to the playoffs. Yeah. And, that was one of the, financially, I can say probably one of the worst decisions, and being able to have the opportunity to play alongside LeBron James and be able to help what was going on there. That was tough, especially, being the fact that I was over $1 million in the red. Right. That could have helped out a lot, and with Future. But to be honest with you, man, even if I would have did that, it probably would have been the same. It probably would have been the same, the spending habits, because I was still, surrounding myself with the wrong people, and was still giving to a lot of people. So, even if I would have signed that deal, I'm pretty sure it probably took me deeper in the hole.
What was those spending habits? So you said you had, who was on the payroll? Who were you helping every month, and what were you spending on?
Well, like I said, I had 16 aunties and uncle. I was looking out for an aunt and an uncle who was in wheelchairs. I was looking out for my aunt who took me in university. Took me in the small town of Georgia after I left. I was taking care of my sister. I was taking care of my mom for sure. And then I had 4 first cousins living with me, and they weren't even working. So that means when I went shopping, they went shopping. So when I traveled and went somewhere and they wanted to come, I was paying for that. Whenever we went out to eat, I was paying for that. Like all of their tab was on me. It was a lot. It was just a lot of people that was, when I visited certain places and, went to college or somewhere, I was giving. That's all I was doing was giving. And it was nothing I was doing for myself, really. Because I lived my dream. My dream was to make the NBA, and that, I was satisfied with that. Money made everybody else happy. It ain't make me happy.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the goal was just to take care of your family. You was doing that, so you was happy.
I was happy.
So nobody, like your agent, there was nobody ever approached you about investing or planning for your future, any of that?
Nope. No one.
Not even your agent was like, yo, if you do this.
Well, you got to think, like, my agent was a football agent. Like, he represented all the football players. And like, he was the same agent that represented Scottie Pippen, and nobody could understand why would he have Scottie Pippen sign a long-term deal. But people don't understand he had a football mentality.
Yeah.
Like, get as many years as you can get.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Under a contract. So he was so busy with, he had all the elite football players. And the thing is that the reason I signed with them was because of Scottie Pippen. Like, I wore number 33 because of Scottie Pippen. Wow. And when he took me over to Chicago to work out, had me working out with Michael Jordan's trainer, Tim Grover. And then after we worked out, I showered, and then he take me on a yacht with Scottie Pippen. Like, where do I sign?
Basically, right? That's what's up, man. But good stuff. All right, so if you could do it all over again, we're not gonna give them the whole book. If you could change a few things and do it all over again with your mindset, what things would you have changed along your journey?
Man, I probably would have stayed in school longer.
Okay.
I probably would have stayed in school longer, and I definitely would have went about it. Instead of giving so much, I probably would have set up something for people that I was looking out for that they really had interest in doing, and help them with that, where they had income coming in for themselves rather than me just emptying out to them. That was one of the major things that I would have done different. That's
good. It's a good idea, man. All right, so let's talk about, before we get out here, talk about the things you got going on, man. Like you said, you're all over the place. You're doing a bunch of big things, man. So tell the people what you got going on, what you got coming up. And your camera went out too, real quick. I don't know what happened. All right, there you go. Tell people what you got going on.
Well, this weekend I got something going on in Valdosta, Georgia. I'll be going down there and really speaking to, it's going to be a lot of military, because I really want to get into that military space, because I think they're really a lot similar to professional athletes, where, they go and put in the time, and then, once it's over, it seems like, nobody remembers what they did for you. I want to get into that space because I don't think people really relate too much. So I'm going down to speak to some military people and kind of give them my experiences, where I can kind of shed light on me going and get the help that I needed. Because I think a lot of us as men, think we're, we can figure it out. And it just for me to go down there and give that this Friday. Saturday, I'll be doing a free basketball camp in Camilla, Georgia, actually where I went to high school at this Saturday. Sunday, I'll be having a community day down there to kind of show appreciation. It's the first one I've done, since I left, man. I've been going through so much since then. And, now I'm back in a space where I feel like I can give back and do things for the community. So I'll be doing that on Sunday. I got the gala the sneaker gala coming up May 14th in Philadelphia. It's going to be the first one under Beyond the Hardwood. Got a bunch of athletes that's going to be coming in, man. I'm excited about it.
Who's coming through? Make the announcement on the podcast. Give us the
man, I got a lot of people coming through, man. Lamar Odom for sure is going to be coming through. Joe Smith will be coming through. Man, we got who else? We got Tyree Washington who won Olympian. We got so many people. I wish I had my list here, man, to kind of go down the list. But we have 20 athletes that'll be coming through to support the cause. Actually, 4 of them are in Philadelphia right now. Mark Jackson, who does a lot with the 76ers, will be in there. Who else? Aaron McKee will be around. Man, it's so many people, man. I wish I had my list so I can go down it. So the people can get an idea who's going to be there. But I'll be getting more updates and letting people know who here starting next week and start putting the list out. So if people want to know who's actually going to be there, man, it's so many, and it's different sports. You know, it's different sports. Anthony King will be in, 2-time Super Bowl winner from here in Atlanta. And it's gonna be fun, and I'm very excited about that because it's a lot of athletes that's coming in that'll be actually not ready to speak out, but I like to be able to have them in a room so that they feel good about them not being the only one that's in there, and giving the people, you know, ideas and see that we're not immortal. You know, as athletes, we're not Superman, we're not superheroes, we're human people. Just to give the world that and let athletes understand. And it's therapeutic for me to speak out on it as well. And I'm just trying to get the other athletes in a good space where they feel good about speaking out. And the ones that haven't went and got the help, try to get them feel better about going in and talking with somebody if they need it.
So where can people get tickets for that?
You can get the tickets on the website, beyondthehardwood.net. You know, if you got, you know, companies or whatever, you know, we got packages. You know, it's going to be, we got up to 500 people that can get in. If you want VIP, it'll be limited. So if you want to get the VIP tickets, which will be, we'll give the VIPs an hour, you know, from 6 to 7 o'clock to be able to mingle with all the athletes to come in. You'll be able to do that if you get the VIP, but it's very limited. So if you want to be a part of that, you need to go ahead and get your tickets right away because it'll be a limited number of people who will be able to get that opportunity.
Oh, man, we're excited about it, man. Books for Athletes will be in the building. And, man, we're excited to share, bro. Last thing before I let you go, how was it working with Books for Athletes in this process of getting your book done, man?
Man, y'all made it so easy for me, man. I feel like I made it tougher on you guys. Everything came easy for me, you know, just to be able to sit down and talk about the things that I went through and be able to, you know, to do the things that you guys were doing, man. It made it so much easier, you know, because I had been sitting around here writing a book in my head for 10 years, and to be able to finally, you know, talk with you guys and see what you guys were doing, made everything for me. Like I would advise anybody that thinking like I've been thinking for all these years to write a book, to be able to just go out and, you know, get with you guys and see how easy the process was. And again, I appreciate you guys and hopefully, you know, well, I'm sure you guys will be able to come in and, you know, get some athletes that'll be very interested in doing it.
Cool, man. Yeah, we look forward to you connecting us, man. We want to help as many of those guys tell their story as possible, man. That's why we're looking forward to your event. Was it anything else? But yeah, man, anything else? Any final words you want to say to that person who you want to get the book? Any young person out there that's going to listen to this and watch this video, man? Any final words?
Well, yeah, you know, like I said, the book's out there. You can get it on Amazon. And if anybody out there, I'm a big mental health advocate. You know, for anybody out here in the community, you know, it's 2022 now, man. If you want to be a better father, you want to be a better person, you want to be a better husband, you know, go evaluate yourself. It's okay. It's okay to get evaluated. It's okay to figure out things for yourself. You know, that was one of the things for me. I was wondering why I was acting out in certain ways and figuring out so much stuff that came in my childhood. So So, the biggest mistakes that we made when we look in the mirror, sometimes it's the person that we don't see that's really causing a lot of function disruption in our lives. So let's go find out on who we are and go get that help that we need. And it's okay to go get help. It's not mean you crazy. You know what I mean? Go out there and get the help to help people that's surrounding you that can be proud of the things that you're doing and can live a lot healthier life.
Good stuff, man. Last thing, tell the people where they can follow you, get more information if they want to book you to speak and all of that.
You can follow me at I am Jumaine Jones 33 _ Beyond the Hardwood is my business page. You can email me for any business stuff that speaking engagements, which I'm trying to get more of at Beyond the Hardwood Inc. At Gmail. And serious inquiries. Now we want to be able to be serious about this because I'm serious about what I do. So we're serious about me speaking. I'm all for it, and that's it, man.
Appreciate your time, bro. Last thing, man, how do you feel to be on the bestsellers list, man? That's crazy, right?
Man, that was the goal, man. That was the goal, man, to be able to get that and be able to spread this word a lot more. So hopefully if I can get, a lot more people, to get me come out and speak, man. And it's not only on mental health stuff, man. I'm big on corporate, and a lot of people that's doing corporate things, it don't get bigger corporate than the NBA. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we want to go that way and do other things, man. I could speak on different things, and I'm open to do it. Just shoot that email.
That's it, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro. We'll see you next month, man. A couple of weeks, actually, man.
Yeah, I was just telling somebody, like, man, I think I got like a little under 3 weeks.
It's coming, bro. So yeah, we'll be up there, man, the whole weekend. Me and Doc, looking forward to it. Let us know, man, if we can do anything for you, bro.
Okay, I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
All right, man. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Books for Athletes podcast. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and leaving us reviews. And be sure, if you're interested and you want to get your book done, make sure you check out our free case study video at www.booksforathletes.com. Also, if you'd like for me to come to speak to your students, or you're having an event and you need a speaker, I would love to be a part of it. Just shoot me an email at booksforathletes.com. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode.